Okay, so we're going to present our closing session, and it's Teaching and Learning English Globally by Kostas Pexos. Born in Montreal, Canada, he completed his bachelor's and master's degree in English literature at Concordia University in Canada. He has extensive experience in teaching English as a foreign language at all levels. His particular fields of interest are incorporating literature into the English teaching and curriculum, and developing students' speaking skills. Mr. Pexos is currently involved in teachers' training and travels widely in this capacity. He is a familiar figure to teachers in many countries throughout Europe, Latin America, and the Middle East, where he has conducted teacher training programs. Mr. Pexos is a captivating speaker and has the ability to understand teacher needs and link theoretical concepts in English learning, teaching with the everyday practice of teachers in their classrooms. He has been working with Publications as a consultant and teacher trainer since 2004. Please welcome him.
Okay, so hello everyone and welcome. So my name is Kostas Pexos, and in this session we'll be looking at teaching and learning English globally. I thought that since this talk is about, teaching English, I thought I would begin with a little history of English language teaching. At least to go through the most interesting parts in this history. I used here Howard and Whittelson's book, okay? They have this book called A History of English Language Teaching. And they have listed things, all right, items that have affected English language teaching. Now, this list is not narrowly restricted to English language teaching, but it also contains things that, again, that have directly or indirectly influenced the subject. And they have also noted some historical events, okay, just to give context. Now, as you see, the list goes on and on, okay? Lots of items. So what I did is I selected some interesting points, okay? For example, in 1362, it was decided that court proceedings would be conducted in English. See, prior to that period, okay, because of the Norman conquest, all right, the court proceedings were conducted in French. So a layman, would have to go to court and plead his case in French, which he didn't probably speak French, okay? So anyway, then after this decree, it was decided that from now on, court proceedings would be in English. And that way people can, defend themselves, support their case, and so on. In 1604, we had the first English dictionary. Country's table alphabetically as well. It was never deemed a particularly useful book. I mean, in most cases, it was just a list of synonyms. However, it was a first attempt to try to, gather the English words, explain them to somebody in the foreigner who wants to learn the meaning of these words. 1640, we had Johnson's English Grammar. It wasn't the first grammar book, but it was the one that was at least the most influential. This way. Over on the other side of the Atlantic, okay, because these things were taking place in Britain. On the other side of the Atlantic, here, okay, in the Americas, well, we have in 1828 Webster's American Dictionary of the English Language. Already differences started to appear, in spelling. In American English, they write ER instead of RE. Differences in words, okay, different words, and so on. So again, Noel Webster decided to, set this out on record and say what the differences are between British and American English. 1852, we have Roget's Thesaurus. 1877, Sweet's Handbook of Phonetics. Henry Sweet has retained the reputation as the man who taught Europe phonetics. In 1878, we had the first Berlitz school that opened up in Providence, Rhode Island. And I think you have Berlitz schools here. 1943, we had the first BBC English by radio transmission. These are short educational segments on BBC, little lessons, okay, about the English language. 1960, we had the Académico Silent Way, it was published. Okay, here silence is a key tool for the teacher. This approach is not used by many teachers anymore. Okay, but it still continues to be influential, particularly in the teaching of pronunciation. Probably a lot of you might be familiar with this word, Chomsky's aspects of the theory of syntax. Okay. In 1985, we have Krashen's input hypothesis, okay, that places primary importance on comprehensible input that language learners are exposed to. Although today, it has been criticized, it's no longer a valid hypothesis. But this work, what it did was it inspired a lot of research. Okay, and there are many linguists who still praise this work. And the list, okay, that I'll show you ends with Spolsky's measured words. Okay, this book deals with the historical, economical, sociological, political aspects of language testing in the 20th century. All right. Now, apart from that, okay, when it comes to English, we've also had different approaches to teaching the language. These were some of the most common approaches, okay? Sure, you're probably very familiar with most of these approaches, but I'm just going to quickly go through these approaches, okay? We had the grammar translation approach, then we had the direct approach, the reading approach, the audiolingualism, which was dominant in the US, and the situational approach, dominant in Britain, the cognitive approach, affective humanistic approach, comprehension-based approach, and the communicative approach that tends to be the one used nowadays. Now, just a few words on these approaches. Okay, the first one was the grammar translation approach. In this approach, okay, instruction was given only in the student's native language. Okay, what was the focus of this approach? Was basically to translate text. We're focused on grammar, translating the grammar. Okay, and I mean the teacher did not even need to speak the foreign language. It wasn't necessary for the teacher to be able to speak this language. And I was surprised, just doing some research, I was surprised that it's actually still being used in some countries, this kind of approach to teaching English. Many teachers, perhaps, try to use some elements of this, okay? But you'll see that, I know that all of you here, when I show you all these different approaches, I'm sure we all take bits and pieces from all of them. We're all eclectic, I'm sure. All right, then we had the direct approach. This was like a reaction to the grammar translation approach. Obviously, no surprise that the grammar translation approach failed to produce speakers who can actually speak, right? People cannot communicate. So here, in the direct approach now, the focus was on oral skills, on speaking. And in this case, it was only the first language that was used in the classroom. The teacher did not use the student's native language at all, okay? Grammar was taught inductively, okay? Students would read the texts for pleasure, not to analyze the grammar, okay? And the teacher here, in this case, had to be either a native speaker or native-like. Okay, this was the direct approach. Then we had the reading approach, which was basically a reaction to the direct approach, the impracticality of the direct approach. I mean, here the reading approach was seen, it was determined that reading is the most usable and important skill. And in the direct approach, it's hard to find teachers who are native speakers of English to teach, right? I mean, here perhaps in Mexico there might be a lot of people, but it wasn't that easy to use that approach. Anyway, in the reading approach now, what happens is that here only the vocabulary and the grammar necessary for reading comprehension was taught. In other words, it was very controlled, the vocabulary. We teach the vocabulary and grammar that the students need to read. And again, here the teacher did not need to have a good oral proficiency in the foreign language, in the second language. All right. And we had the audiolingualism approach. Okay, this was again dominant in the United States in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, this is basically a reaction to the previous approach, okay, because the reading approach was focused on reading, so here now we want to focus on speaking and so on. Here the focus was on drills to form good habits in language learners with positive reinforcement, because here the belief is that language is habit formation. Okay? Great emphasis on accuracy. They would take it slowly so that students would not make mistakes. Okay? And again, the teacher had to be proficient only in the structures, vocabulary that he or she is teaching. Because as I said, it was very controlled. Okay? First. And the situational approach that grew up, let's say, in the 40s, 50s, and 60s in Britain, again, here the focus was on spoken language. It was a reaction to the reading approach. The language material was presented orally before being presented in written form. And the structures had to be presented situationally, like for example, at the post office, at the bank, okay, in different situations. Then there's the cognitive approach. Okay, now this approach sees language learning not as habit formation, but as rules acquisition. Okay, and mistakes now are seen again as part of the learning process. We make mistakes, and we should be using these constructively to learn. And in this approach, the teacher had to have good general proficiency in the target language and also ability to analyze the target language. The affective humanistic approach, okay, here was the emphasis was respect for the individual, okay, for the student. A lot of the work in pairs and small groups, okay, on meaningful communication. The class atmosphere was the most important thing, not the material, okay? So there was peer support and interaction. The teacher, okay, had to speak both languages, the student's native language and the second language, right? Because at first there was a lot of translation. The teacher would use a lot of translation to make the students feel at ease. This is about making the students feel comfortable, okay? And then later on, okay, the first language was phased out, okay? It would go away as the levels progressed. Then there was the comprehension-based approach, okay? This grew out of research that's, research decided that learning a second language is like learning a first language. And the emphasis, a lot of emphasis on listening comprehension was very important. So students had to be given lots of input, meaningful input. Error correction is seen as not necessary. And the teacher had to be either a native speaker or present students with authentic material, so they can get input. And then we have the communicative approach, okay? Here, the idea is that the focus is on what? On students being able to communicate through the target language, right? The teacher's role primarily is to facilitate communication and secondarily to correct errors, all right? Again, the teacher here has to be able to use the target language fluently and appropriately. So these were different approaches that have taken place over the years, okay? And you'll see that I'm sure all of us take bits and pieces from all of them. Now in 2001, we also had the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. Okay, I'm sure a lot of you know what the CFR is, okay? Just a very quick synopsis, okay? What is the Common European Framework? Well, it provides a common basis for the elaboration of language syllabuses, curriculum guidelines, examinations, textbooks across Europe. It describes what language learners have to learn to do in order to use a language for communication. Okay. It covers the cultural context in which the language is set. And it also defines levels of proficiency, okay, so that students can see their progress at each stage of the learning process and on a lifelong basis. Who is it for? Well, for educational administrators, course designers, teachers, teacher trainers, examining bodies. Now, what does it provide? The framework provides a common basis for the explicit description of objectives, content, and methods. It enhances the transparency of courses, syllabuses, qualifications, and it also promotes international cooperation in the field of modern languages. All right. The aims and the objectives of the Council of Europe language policy is to promote mutual understanding and tolerance, to meet the needs of a multilingual, multicultural Europe, to avert the dangers that might result from the marginalization of those lacking the necessary skills to communicate in an interactive Europe, and to promote methods of modern language teaching which strengthen independence of thought, judgment, action. Okay, and the criteria that the CF must meet has to be multi-purpose, okay, usable for the full variety of purposes involved in the planning, provision of facilities for language learning. It has to be flexible, adaptable for use in different circumstances. Open, okay, so in other words, it's capable of further extension. Dynamic, always changing, okay. User-friendly, okay, and non-dogmatic. Okay, what does that mean now? All right, it means that the CFR does not or cannot take up a position on one side or another of current theoretical disputes on the language's acquisition and learning. It doesn't say that you have to follow this approach, or you have to do this, you have to teach English or French or any language like this. What it does is it encourages those that are involved in language teaching, okay, to explicitly state their theoretical basis and their practical procedures. And what it does basically is it encourages those involved in language learning and teaching to be eclectic. Okay, you have to state what your goals are, and you can use any approach. Okay, you can be eclectic, all right, so that students can reach their goals. And you saw even the approaches we looked at earlier, all of them kind of, you know, pick traits of other approaches as well. Now, I have here a questionnaire. Pass it around. Okay, maybe you can take one, pass it back. Just pass it back. I want you to read these statements. Okay, and think yes or no according to your knowledge of English. I've given them all out. There should be plenty going around. Do you have any extras? Just pass it back. these levels, A1, A2, B1, B2. You're familiar with these levels, right? So depending on the number of ticks you got, okay, you can determine your level. Okay, what they did in Europe, okay, is they tried to standardize the levels. Before the CFR, okay, somebody would say, well, my level of English is intermediate. But what does intermediate mean? Okay, so what they did is they set out some criteria saying that an intermediate level student can do this, this, and this with this language. Whereas an advanced level student, a B2, can do this, 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 and this. Okay, so they have certain criteria that they've set out. Okay, again, a questionnaire that I gave you is just like a sample, and I, separated it according to the level, like A1, A2, B1, B2, okay, C1, C2. All right, you can get this also in the common European framework of reference on the internet. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to do, okay, is I'm going to show you some videos of teachers teaching English in different countries around the world. Okay, they're teaching different levels. Okay, there are some from primary, some from secondary as well. What I'd like you to do is, while you're watching the videos, okay, now let me just get this straight. I'm not going to show you the entire lesson. All right, I'm only going to show you like some segments of a lesson, like 5 minutes or maybe 6 or 8 minutes from another one. Okay, so I'm not going to show you the entire 50-minute lesson. All right. So I want you to look at these questions, and then we will discuss them after I show you the first video. Okay, so were the learners active all the time? Were they attentive? Did they seem to be enjoying the lesson? Were they motivated? Did they seem to be learning the material? Did the lesson go according to plan? Well, you don't know what the plan is, but you can tell from the teacher's objective. What's the teacher trying to teach here? Was the language used communicatively? Okay, were the learners engaging with the foreign language throughout? Okay, let me give you this. So I'm going to show you like 3 different videos. So just make your notes on the first one. And we're going to look at, discuss a little bit what approach they used. You think it was effective? I think it wasn't. I'm not saying these were excellent teachers. You're going to tell me what you think, you know? Okay, you ready? Let's watch the first one. The first one is a teacher from Saudi Arabia. Okay, and this is the lesson that he's teaching. He's teaching, children here. This is the key vocabulary: bike, kite, airplane, car. He's teaching the verb have got, I have got, haven't got, and so on. All right, so let's just watch a little segment.
This activity here, it says look and write. Pick where I have got or else where I haven't got. Okay, then say. Now, I will need to get someone to help me. Who will help me? Mama, will you help me? Will you help me? Will you? Please. Here. Come to the boy. Okay. Let's ask some questions. Okay, what's this? Here, what's this? What's this? Ahmad? It's a teddy bear. Ask your fellow students. You have to ask them. What's this? Ask them. Raise your hands. Okay, choose one. Who? It's a kite. It's a kite, right? Okay. Another one. Ask another one. What's this? You have to ask. What's this? Oh. Tell it. It's a bike. It's a bike, right? Okay. One more. This one. Ask. Choose one. Yes. It's a computer. Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mama. Now, I would like another volunteer. Okay. Ibrahim, will you help me? Will you help me? Please come. Come here. Now, let's take a look at this picture here. Okay, and you can take a look at your books as well. Again, it's all together. Kite, bike, car, doll, domino, ball, plane, computer, teddy bear, well done. Now, okay, here, I would like you, I will give you these cards here, okay? You have to stick them, okay, under the picture or next to the picture of the items that you have. For example, take a look at me. I have got a car. Okay, I have got a car. And I have got a computer. Okay, I have got a computer. I haven't got a doll. No. And I haven't got a teddy bear. Okay. Now, it's your turn now. Your turn. Okay. Something that you have got. Choose. And tell us, I have got a plane. I have got a plane. Okay, another one that you have. I have got a bike. Something that you haven't got. I haven't got a teddy bear. I haven't got, stay here. I haven't got a teddy bear. Tell them. You should tell them. No. Tell them, I haven't got a teddy bear. Right, and another one. Okay. Right, I haven't got a kite. Thank you very much. Thank you. You can sit now. Now, you have, now you will work in pairs, okay? You will work together, okay, one pair here, another pair, you will work together, You have to put a tick, okay, to things that you have got, or an X to things that you haven't got. Now, put a tick in things. Okay, you got here a kite. Now, you have to tell your fellow student, I haven't got a kite. What about you? Have you got a kite? You have to put an X, right? You have to put an X. Okay, work together.
Okay, so this was part of the lesson, all right? So what did you think now about this? Did the learners, were they active? Not all the time? Yeah. Attentive, were they paying attention? And what do you think? Okay. Did you think they were enjoying the lesson? Yeah, they were kind of nervous because of the camera. The teacher told me that they thought their parents are going to watch this. You know, and they were like, they have to behave. Yeah, they didn't want. Yeah, exactly. They wanted. They were exactly. Did they seem to be learning the material? What did you think? Okay. Lesson went according to plan. You said that we could tell the teacher was trying to teach. Exactly. Yeah. Was the language used communicatively? No, at time. Okay.
Most of it.
Yeah, sometimes they were showing things to say what they have, what they haven't got. Look, a language, all right, we do use the language communicatively in the classroom, but sometimes, you know, we have to explain grammar. Okay, there's a place for that as well, all right? The learners were engaging with the foreign language throughout. Did the teacher use Arabic? No. See, he was trying to use just students, just English, okay, just the second language. You know, and of course the students did not understand a lot of times, but he kept it. He kept up, you know, speaking to them just in English, all right? All right, okay. All right, now let's watch a high school teacher, okay? This is the lesson that this teacher will be focusing on. Again, I'm not going to show you the entire, just bits and pieces of the reading and a little bit of the speaking on it, okay?
Here we are. Can we think of other animal species that are endangered? So we saw the Siberian tiger, the blue whale, the koala, and what's the fourth one? The polar bear. Can you think of other endangered species? Jody?
Yes.
Okay, please tell.
Yes.
Yes, the rays in general. Yes, okay, Tommy? The gorillas, yes, the gorillas are also endangered. Any other animals? Seals, yes, seals. Trixie? The giant pandas. Okay, all right. Yes, and we have also talked about the reasons why these animals are endangered. Okay, now, very quickly, read the text. Okay, so read the text quickly alone and answer the questions that follows. What is the writer's attitude about protecting lesser known animal species? Lesser known, it means that these animals are not that known. Okay? So please read the text quickly. Read the text quickly and answer the question. So, is the writer in favor of it? Is he or she against it? Or C, doesn't he or she express his or her opinion? Kishore, what do you think?
She is in favor of it.
Sorry?
She is in favor.
Yes, you agree with George's answer. Is it the correct answer, Lizzie?
I still think he or she is against it.
Against it. Yes, Eric, what do you think? Okay, who says that the correct answer is C? Please raise your hand. Yes, the correct answer is C. So the writer does not express his or her opinion. Yes, this is the correct answer. And now, let's listen to the text.
Reading. How SOS. According to the World Wildlife Fund, there are hundreds of conservation of endangered species.
So, which animals are mentioned in this text? Only. Yes, the kakapo. The kakapo. The second one? Hello. So the first animal this text mentions is the kakapo. are the main reasons for which, let's see, let me repeat the question. So what are the main reasons for which certain species are endangered? So please look at the text and find me the correct answer. What are the main reasons? There are three main reasons for which these animals are endangered. Yes?
The destruction of natural habitats,
Yes,
pollution, and climate
and
change.
climate change. Exactly. Okay. Please look at the statements that follow the text. Look at activity C. This time give the statement are true, false, or not mentioned, and write T or F or NM in the boxes. Okay? Papa, number 1. Please give the statement and decide whether it is true, false, or not mentioned.
There are several reasons why certain species are dying out. It's true.
It's true. Yes. Okay, because the main reasons are, we mentioned three main reasons. Papa?
Destruction of natural habitats.
Yes.
Pollution.
Pollution and climate change. Okay, fine. Number 2.
It is more difficult to protect lesser known creatures
Creatures.
from extinction.
From extinction.
No, it's not mentioned.
It's not mentioned. Okay, so the writer does not mention in the text. Aaron, number 3. Read the statement, please.
Is endangered because it is hunted by other animals. I think it's true.
Okay, let's see. Yes, it is true. Trixie, number 4. Any other species? Yes, it is not mentioned, correct. So the text does not say. Let's see the vocabulary, okay? Especially look at the highlighted birds, the yellow birds. And please match them with their meanings. Match them with their meanings, okay? Jody. Are there, what does it mean? Are there. Choose from A to G. Are there? No. No. Yes. Okay. Number 2, Carlo. Line out. What does it mean? What is the synonym? What is the meaning of this word? Okay. Disappear. Please answer the following question with your partner. Agree or disagree? And finally, try to reach an agreement. The question is it a good idea to keep animals in zoos? And you should include all the points below. Okay? And the point for the points are costs, education, danger, breeding, freedom, entertainment, and anything else. Okay? So now you're going to work in as we can, and please discuss this question with your partner. And give your argument. Okay? You have 3 minutes to do this activity.
To keep animals in zoos. To keep animals in zoos has both advantages and disadvantages. I think we should consider both as an issue. First of all, in my opinion, the only disadvantage is that the animals lose their freedom. Yes, I completely agree with you. I think it's a very stressful life because they are kept in small cages and they don't have enough space. I think it has some advantages because we can protect them from dying out, because these animals are usually hunted for their fur, horn, or meat. Yes, I agree with you. In addition, it's very entertaining
with this teacher. Her comments. How did you think the learners, were they active in the lesson? Not really? Not all the time? Do you think they were attentive? Did they enjoy the lesson? Were they motivated? But do you think they were learning? Okay. Did the lesson go according to plan? It was a reading lesson. Okay. Obviously, I didn't show you all the parts because you did warm up and then she asked further questions. Okay. Although I would ask for justification of the answers. You know, when the students were giving the answers, I usually ask the students to justify where the answer is as well, not just this, because it could be just a lucky guess. It's true or false. Okay. Was the language used communicatively throughout? Yes. Okay. The learners were engaging with the foreign language? Okay. Now, in the end, you know, they also did a little speaking activity, okay, where they had to use some of the information that they learned and talk about zoos and if animals should be kept in there or not. Okay. Now, the last one is a very short one. Again, it's with children this time. Okay, let's look at this teacher. This one is in Hungary. Okay, the previous one was in Czech. This is Hungary.
Yes, you know it. Yes, you know it. You can say it in Hungarian if you don't know it in English. Okay. Okay, so you know it in English? Crab. Okay, everybody? Crab. Good. Okay, now what about the next one? What do you think? What can it be? Oh, look at this. What's this? There you go. Seahorse. Okay, so you say, you know it? Seahorse. 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 Okay, so seahorse means seahorse. Okay, so this one is the crab. This is the seahorse. Okay, now let's see the next one, please. Okay. Okay. What's this? Okay, very good. Okay, it's a starfish. Starfish. Okay, so what's this? Crab. Okay, seahorse. Starfish. Okay, that's the last one. It's go ahead. Delphin. Very good. In English, it's called dolphin. Dolphin. Okay, so no, not dolphish. Dolphin. Dolphin. Not dolphin. 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 It's not fish. This is not fish. Dolphin. Dolphin. Starfish. Seahorse. Crab. Okay, so once again. Crab. Seahorse. Starfish. Dolphin. Okay. Okay, so it's not valid. Okay, now, please crawl to the crab. Just crawl to the crab. Crawl to the crab. Okay. Now, walk to the dolphin. Walk to the dolphin. Just walk. Now, imagine that you are a robot. Please walk to the dolphin. Walk to the starfish. Like a robot. Go like a robot. Wow. What are we talking about? These animals are in water in the sea. We have to swim. Swim to the starfish. Please swim to the starfish. There's a starfish here. Wow, great. Now, swim to the dolphin. Can you swim to the dolphin? Yes. Now, what about swimming to the seahorse? Okay, riding a horse to the seahorse. Come on. Down. Okay, and press, moving to the side, not from to the side, this way. Press and moving this way. Come on. Not backwards, to the side. Oh, thank you very much. Sit down, please.
Okay. All right. So what about this lesson? This was in Hungarian. Did the teacher use just English or the student's native language as well? No. Okay. So again, it's not wrong to use the student's native language. Teachers think that you must use only English. Okay. But I think that especially with beginner levels, you can use a little bit of the native language, but however, try to use as much English as possible. Sometimes a little prompt in the native language might help you get over the hurdle and onto the activity, okay? But again, as I said, you should always try to use as much English as possible. Now, were the learners active here? Were they attentive? Yes. And did they seem to enjoy the class? Yes. Okay. The lesson will go according to plan? Okay, the language was used communicatively? Okay, and the learners were engaging with the foreign language? Okay, so this was just like the warm-up part, so, okay. Now, I'm not going to show you that video. All right, now, just some food for thought, okay? This is something that I like to always end my talks with, asking participants, one thing that you liked about these lessons, one thing you didn't like, one thing that you learned perhaps from these lessons. This is something that you can think about. You can tell me, one, you can share your answers, or you can just tell each other, okay? Anyway, so the idea of this presentation, again, was to go through a history of English language teaching, okay? The different approaches that have been used over the years, and show you different classrooms. One was from the Middle East, from Saudi Arabia, from the Czech Republic of Hungary, okay? How teachers are trying to incorporate different theories to make their lessons more exciting, okay? Make the students use the language, experiment with the language, make mistakes in the language, and learn from those mistakes. Okay? All right, so I'd like to thank you very much. Yes.
Something I found interesting is that the first two videos show the teacher using technology.
Right.
And the second one, the third one, she's not.
Really?
So it's amazing how we nowadays trust technology that much, but it's not magic.
It's just a tool, exactly. The most important feature, let's say in the classroom, is the teacher. The teacher is the one that makes the difference in the lesson. Technology is a tool that you can use, but like you said, if a teacher is enthusiastic, okay, about their job, okay, those are the best teachers. Now remember, the best teachers are not the ones the most knowledge, okay? The best teachers are the ones that are passionate, okay? That really enjoy doing their job. Those are the best teachers, okay? That inspire and motivate, right? And technology, doesn't necessarily mean that because we're using technology, the students are going to learn more effectively, or, they can, okay? But again, technology is just a tool, and it depends on how the teacher uses it. A good point, yes.
Any other comments? Questions? Okay, so we don't have any more. I want to just wait a little bit to give you this set.
Oh, thank you very much.
And also a gift from the university they are studying the history of the university.
Oh, thank you very much.
And thank you very much. And in this session we are closing this event. We want to thank you for coming, and please give another applause for all the organization and the participants. Licenciado, si gusta agregar algo.
Bueno, en primer lugar, agradecerle a